Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm making this video what I think about the cops and the FBI. Recently, it's come to my attention that I'm not the only person who is being persecuted or targeted, and that there's a group of individuals, and they call themselves targeted individuals, or TIs. I'm not really sure. There's different reasons why they're targeted. A lot of them are political dissidents, and some of them are just being randomly chosen. I myself am being hurt for $1 million life insurance. So I wanted to go over my thoughts about the cops and the FBI because I noticed a lot of targeted individuals don't like the cops, and they're very distrustful to them. I wanted to be a cop, so I just wanted to basically say that I'm not sure why people wouldn't like the cops, because I just want to say that people become cops because they want to help people and they want to protect and serve. And I know this because I wanted to be a cop, and those are the reasons why I wanted to be one. So I just want to go over some of my thoughts about the cops. So basically, what had happened to me, my testimony is that someone or a group of people, a covert group, tried to blow me up at a church on 9/11, and all of my stuff was, I lost all of my stuff. I lost my car, and I had people stalking and chasing me. I already went over this. And I went to Massachusetts. This all happened after my trip to Egypt. And the day that they wanted to blow me up was the same day the Libyan ambassador blew up in Libya. So there was some kind of connection. When it didn't work, they wanted me to be like a Manchurian candidate. When I actually escaped in Iran, these people had stalked me, chased me, and they threw me into a facility, the same facility that I was abducted and thrown into and interrogated after my Egyptian tour. So then I went from California to Massachusetts with the clothing on my back. These people had actually, they told me that they murdered this young woman down the street from me because they wanted to scare me into silence. I made a previous video about that. They did all kinds of things to scare me, as well as they started to implement a drone. Drones have 3 known capabilities, which is surveillance, torture, and murder. And they began to torture me, and I guess they told me that it had to do with the $1 million life insurance. So anyway, at a certain point, these people decided to do a reveal. And they told me that they are the cops. And they told me that they were the police or something. So anyway, when I had seen, because they sent me this communication that this was the reveal, I actually cried. I cried for 2 days. And I cried and I cried. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I don't cry. Like, even with all the stuff that happened to me, I didn't cry. And because I'm kind of a strong person, but for some reason, like, it really broke my heart that this could be the cops that are doing this, because I wanted to be a cop. So anyway, I just cried and I cried for 2 days. I cried like an Italian mother at a funeral. I just cried, and finally the spies. It's not a pretty sight when I cry. Actually, when I really let loose, I never cry. Like, there've been times when like 5 years have gone by and I never cry. Well, maybe not 5 years, but you know what I mean. So I think they didn't really like seeing me cry, so they're like, Jessica, all right, we're not the cops. That's what they said. We're not the cops. We just said that. And then they're like, you should have been a cop. why didn't you become a cop, because you could have avoided everything, all this stuff. And like basically the reason why I didn't become a cop is that when I was a little girl, women stayed at home. They were housewives. And my mother was one of the first people to go to work. And anyway, when I came of age, when I was like 18, 20 years of age, I thought about becoming a cop, but it seemed like a real boys club. So it didn't seem like I had any opportunity to become one. So I didn't go pursue that path. I became a social worker instead, which is kind of similar to being a cop in a way. Anyway, so I just wanted to, I don't know who's doing this. There's somebody in the intelligence agency. So I just wanted to go over some things because I'm really concerned about other people who are targeted individuals feeling really bad about the cops. So, oh no, sorry, I'm not prepared here. So anyway, where is it? Oh dear. Okay, well, in brief, basically, I had read Kentucky Senator Paul Rand on his website, on his Facebook, and on his government website. He openly condemned the director of the FBI, Robert Mueller's statements that he is using surveillance drones. And so my friend, who is kind of a smart guy, he wanted to know exactly where it said, where is it? He said, please indicate in his statement which follows what confirms there are killer drones executing people in the U.S. Well, I wrote him this letter. I'm going to read it to you real quick. I put, that is his letter, however, he states the following. Here is the paragraph above his letter on his Kentucky government website, which reads as follows. Washington, D.C. Senator Rand Paul today issued the following letter to Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Robert Mueller regarding his concern over recent remarks by Director Mueller that indicate the FBI is using surveillance drones on American citizens. In the letter, Senator Paul requests that Director Mueller address these concerns by answering a set of questions regarding the FBI's use of surveillance drones without operational guidelines. Below is the text of that letter. And then on his Facebook it said, today I issued a letter to FBI Director Robert Mueller regarding my concern over recent remarks made by Director Mueller that indicate the FBI is using surveillance drones on American citizens. So, like in college, I took a logic class, and I don't know why my friend couldn't understand what's going on here, but so I took a logic class, so I broke up the statements for him. The recent remarks made by FBI Director Mueller indicate that the FBI is using surveillance drones on Americans. He actually stated that, and there's actually YouTube that says that they're using 5 surveillance drones. And then Senator Rand Paul has a concern that he's using the FBI director is using surveillance drones on Americans. So that equals FBI Director Mueller made recent remarks which indicate that the FBI are using surveillance drones on American citizens, and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is concerned about recent remarks made by the FBI Director Mueller using surveillance drones on Americans. Equals the FBI may be using surveillance drones on Americans now, which he basically said they have 5, the FBI Director Mueller. Okay. Drones have 3 new capabilities: surveillance, torture, and murder. My opinion is that the FBI is probably just using them for surveillance because they do have cases they need to solve, you know. But I think the larger concern here is that drones are being used. So I actually don't believe the FBI is using them for bad reasons. I think they're using them for good reasons. And this guy, the director Mueller, is taking the heat a little bit because um, there's like another thing going on in the government. There's a fact. The fact is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul gave a 13-hour filibuster, and I put these facts like so that you could look at that logical equation basically against these facts. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul gave a 13-hour filibuster speech before Congress with no bathroom breaks to argue against a law that the executive branch of the government, that would be the president and the president's military, because he's in charge of the military. I don't know if a lot of people realize what the president's real function is. It's being commander-in-chief of the military. So that the executive branch of the government wants a law passed that they can kill non-combative, non-soldiers, basically, citizens on foreign soil, expats or tourists, under the name of terrorism. The fact is that the Kentucky Senator Rand Paul courageously asked the question before Congress during his 13-hour filibuster, is it true Obama is currently executing Americans on U.S. soil? To which the congressman who was asked this question replied, no. Fact. Drones have the 3 known capabilities: surveillance, torture, and murder. Fact. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul stated his concern that the FBI had deployed surveillance drones on Americans currently. Fact. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul's letter indicates his concerns that these drones will be used improperly. He wants to know what the safeguards are in place during their potential use. Fact. My first-hand testimony witnesses that I am currently being surveilled, tortured, and murdered by a drone for $1 million life insurance money. So I'm not sure if the FBI is doing this to me. I feel that it's possible that they are actually using their set of drones, they're using them to solve cases, and that I think that someone in it, I personally am thinking that I don't really know who's doing this to me, but I think that they are using them to solve cases, because there have been some cases in the news, like that little kid that was in the bunker. Somebody kidnapped some little child and put him in a bunker, and they used a surveillance drone for that. I'm not sure if it's really the FBI that's doing this to me, but it does show that drones are being used in the intelligence community, because the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA are all related in the intelligence community. So, I guess the larger reason why I'm not sure if it's the FBI is because I wanted to be a cop, and I have just a really hard time believing that anyone becomes a cop and I don't really believe anybody would agree with hurting an innocent woman like this. I think people become cops to protect and serve, and they take an oath, and that's why they become cops, and I actually believe that the FBI too. I don't think anyone goes into the FBI and thinks, I'm gonna torture this innocent woman for $1 million. I don't think that anybody does that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. So where am I? There are actually 3 levels to the FBI that I've been made aware of, and one is like the administrative, like forensic, like footwork type of work, and then the other one is FBI profiling, and the other thing is like spy stuff, like maybe knowing more about the classified information in the government, like kind of the stuff that I've been made aware of. So I do think that it's possible somebody in the FBI knows what I'm going through, and they might even know who's doing this. They might even be able to stop it. I think that also is if this is true, what they're telling me, that somebody in the FBI or intelligence agency, if they had approved this, I think by now, I think they would probably be I don't know, but I think that they would probably be horrified to know that someone tried to blow me up at a Catholic church. I mean, I know being a cop, you're kind of you see a lot of things, but let's say like someone was like, let's say there was actually someone who was corrupt, and they're like, yeah, they were given like surface information about me or whatever. I think by now, knowing like they wanted to blow me up at a church and that I was tortured for no reason other than I had been conned into signing this $1 million life insurance policy. I think by now they would have like put a stop to it. So another thing is like again, like a lot of targeted individuals don't like cops, and like I don't know why you don't like cops. I wanted to be a cop since I was 5, and it's one of the things I wanted to do. I also wanted to be a nun and a librarian, so those were like my 3 preferred career choices. They never came to be, but anyway, I just wanted to say, just tell people why people become cops. Cops want to help people, and that's why they become cops. They're good guys. A lot of people like to say bad things about cops, but I believe that they're wrong. And like a cop would save your life when you need it. Like that's what cops do. And they're there to defend you and protect you, and to establish the law and to make communities safe. Like even like when cops give you tickets, like the kind of cop I wanted to be a detective. So I wanted to like bring closure to families who are their family members, maybe they were murdered or whatever. So this kind of thing I wanted to do. But the when a cop gives you a ticket, they're enforcing the law. And I've actually gotten a lot of tickets, like expensive tickets. I never get out of a ticket. Like people tease me all the time. They say, "Why don't you like do this and that?" I never get out of a ticket, and I don't do that kind of thing anyway. Like one time I got a ticket for $600, and I made a UE before a checkpoint, and everybody was doing it. I didn't even know what a checkpoint was. I was in California. I got like a $600 ticket, something like that. And so I learned a lesson. Like, don't make a UE in front of a checkpoint. You know what I mean? It's like not good. It's not cool because they don't know like who you are, if you're doing this or that, and it's kind of scary. They're trying to like make everyone go in an orderly fashion and stuff, and it's like they don't know what's going on. So it's not, even if other people are doing it, And then on top of that, like one time I got a ticket for $800 because I didn't put my registration sticker on my car. I was like working 40 hours a week and going to school like part-time, and I didn't have time to put my sticker on my car, So I had actually been let go of my job that day because there was new management, and they were just like shuffling everybody around. And so my severance pay, which was $800, went towards that tow, But I'm not like that's I should have put my sticker on my car. You know what I mean? So I think people kind of miss the larger picture that like cops are just doing their jobs, and they're doing it because like I got another ticket too. One time I went through a yellow light. I never do that again. You know what? That guy was right, because I wanted to get home from work. I was tired, but someone could have come through like the intersection and clipped me. So I learned a lesson. So sorry. It is hot here. Um, it's like June and it is like very humid in Massachusetts. Um, so that's my personal belief, and I don't know. I think that sometimes like people get mad at cops because they give out tickets and stuff, but like that might save your life one day. If you do this or that, maybe like that's actually something you need to learn from and you need to do. It could save your life one day. It could save another person's life. Like if you get a speeding ticket, next time you'll drive at a safe speed. It might save your life. So anyway, I want to talk about the cops in my town. I know them, and I think that they're great guys. They can't help me, and they told me when I told them what had happened to me, and I told them about the girl down the street as well, and they told me that her family was wondering. They felt like she had died under suspicious circumstances. She died about like 3 weeks before I returned from California to Mass, in order to scare me into silence. So they told me that, hey Jess, they said this is out of their jurisdiction, and that it's, and another cop that I know really well told me that it sounds like a criminal conspiracy. So it's basically out of their jurisdiction and it's a criminal conspiracy. And I know that if these guys, if they could, the police in my town would stop these bad guys from hurting me like right away. And if anyone did anything to me, they'll be there. My opinion is I wouldn't be surprised if they put cameras around my property alongside the Patriot Act cameras that are already here. Because that's the kind of guys that they are. Like I spoke with this cop that I know a few months ago, and he told me that, if anything happens, to call him, night or day, and they'll be down here, and that, so like I really believe that they want to help me, and but they can't. Like they just don't. It's out of their jurisdiction. It's for somebody maybe in the federal government, because there's actually 3 branches of government. Um, There's the local government, the state government, and the federal government. I don't know how I know all this stuff, but so the cops in my town, they're part of the local government, and then there's the state police, and they're part of the state government, and then the FBI would be part of the federal government. So that's basically how it works. So the local cops, they can't help me. And I think a lot of targeted individuals get upset because the cops can't help you, maybe in your town or whatever. But I think and then maybe like the cops too react. They can kind of maybe feel that, you're not really happy and stuff like that. I don't know if they're reacting to that, but so then they don't even know what to do for you. So like they're probably like not telling you what you want to hear, So I would just say that you shouldn't really blame like the local cops and stuff, because they do a lot of hard work, and they really help the communities be safe. And like in the case of something like I'm going through, they can't really do anything. So I know it's hard to accept that like sometimes people can't help you. And you think, oh well, that's an authority figure and they should be able to help you, but it's basically how it works. There's just like 3 levels of government. They're like part of the local government, and they would help me if they could. They can't help me. You know. So I want to like say that because I see a lot of like targeted individuals that get me like really upset, and I don't think the local cops are like your problem. They're not. So like I want to like just go over briefly from what I understand about like the FBI are just basically federal government cops, and like there's different levels of security people. There's like the security worker, the mall cop, kind of EMT, they're doing a service. The firemen, there's the police, the state police, and then the police being local, the state police being the state, and then there's also like the federal government, which has the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA, and those are like part of the intelligence community. So the abbreviation for FBI is fidelity, bravery, and integrity. So I just have a hard time believing that any federal agent in the FBI would actually um, purposely use a drone to kill an innocent woman for life insurance money. I think you go into law enforcement, and the FBI has really good public relations, no doubt. And there's been some things going on in historically, and I'm sure they have like a little, they have corruption, just like any other agency, whether local, state, or federal government. But I just personally, I think that the larger picture is that most people go into law enforcement because they want to help people. So if I look at all the things that the FBI has done to help people, and that's what I wanted to bring up as well. I think like the larger picture, like see, I'm not actually upset with the local cops. I don't know if they can't really do anything. And I'm not even sure if I'm really that mad at the FBI. Like I feel like if they could, they might be able to help me. They might probably know who's doing this. I'm not sure what they could do. They could negotiate something or what's going on, but I just feel that when someone goes into the law enforcement, they do it to help people and protect and serve, and they do it, it's kind of, these are noble professions, so they're professions that bring order and the law to the land. So they're extremely noble things, and if I look at all the hard work that the FBI has done, they've done so much hard work solving cases and bringing peace to families and bringing like criminals to justice. And I don't feel like all the stuff that's going on with me. I don't know if anyone can help me and stuff, but I think like the larger picture is that like they actually help quite a lot of people. And so anyway, what does this say? So I don't know what's going on with the senator had made those statements, the FBI director had made those statements. A lot can excuse me, a lot can be discerned from that. But I do know that like nothing falls faster than a house of cards divided. And there's also like a saying our forefathers made, which is united we stand, divided we fall. And I feel like whoever is doing this to me, I believe that they are spies, and they're terrorists. They tell me that they're above the police, or they're like the Stasi, or they're like the secret police, or they're like Big Brother. And but it seems to me like when I see what they've done and the things that they've told me that they've done, it seems to me like they're splintering a lot of the government. They're splintering the government, and I think that they have larger, more like they have like a malicious intent to make the FBI look bad. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like they're also trying to make some of the politicians look bad as well by kind of spreading like misinformation, and they're also I feel like like they had told me, for instance, that they want me to, because I guess a lot of people they don't trust the police and stuff, but It was in my record, actually, because these people had known that I wanted to be a cop, you know. So it was in my record and all. But I don't know if they did their research on me, but so I feel like, you know, they're trying to splinter people, and this is just my thoughts about the police and the FBI. I know maybe I sound naive, you know, whatever, you know. I'm sure, like, you know, not everyone's good and all, but I just get the feeling that these spies might be from the CIA or the NSA. And possibly there could be like a politician involved. I'm not sure who. As well as I do feel on some level that the insurance company might know what's going on it too, but I don't know. I don't have proof of that, but just the way in which when I contacted the National Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, they ignored my complaint, and they're the only coalition against insurance fraud in the country, and they're manned by their board of directors is they're all insurance workers, like basically like CEOs for insurance companies, and they ignored my complaint that I'm being murdered for $1 million life insurance. You would think that if a lady were to complain about that, those men would be like, wow. And they might even make an effort to meet with me or speak with me or have somebody, which is what I had actually written the company and my request to actually just speak to someone. All I want to know is that there's a red flag on my account and that there's safeguards in place, you know, for my account. That's all I want. And they instead, the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud, which actually somebody from MetLife actually is on that board, they decided to ignore me. So that just makes me think like they're involved somehow, but I don't know. So so maybe, you know, anyway, I just want to make this video because I just wanted to voice my opinion, and feel free to tell me what you think. All right, thanks. Bye.